cosas cambiaron, una situación cabrón. Suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás. Las cosas cambiaron, una situación cabrón. Suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás. Las cosas cambiaron, la situación cabrón. Suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, you know it. It does not matter who the host is. It matters who the listeners are, because that's always the important portion. Anyways, today is Friday, which means that it is Freeform Friday on June the 24th of 2022. Day 175 of the year. Yeah, 175 of the year. We're just right there before we're starting to head towards down the downward spiral. There'll be less days remaining than there will be, for the year. Let me rephrase that, because apparently it's going to go dark right away. Anyways, we're broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse of Safety FM, and of course, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. Also can be found on TuneIn, just in case if you're wondering. So I love the messaging right away starting off, before I even told people to start going into callinradio.com of what is this sexual situation stuff, because it's never happened. I guess that's a good idea. Maybe we talk about some stuff, because it's definitely not going to happen on here. I mean, what kind of comment is that? Like, seriously, what kind of comment is that? Who talks about that like that? Anyway, just some things to think about. Anyways, with that being said, I think, it's freeform. We do a little bit of everything. This is your opportunity to shine with the message boards on what you're doing, audio messaging, and call-ins or video calls, however you want to do that. We're able to do all kinds of fun stuff inside of the move and groove of things right there. So with that being said, let's start talking right away about what is trending in this fabulous world of ours, because we need to do that. It's always important to do so. Anyways, according to the charts and what was trending, Second Amendment trended as the Supreme Court ruled that states and cities can't impose a can't impose a need test in order to allow citizens to carry handguns. So let's say that again. Yesterday, Second Amendment was trending as Supreme Court ruled that states and cities can't impose a needs test in order to allow citizens to carry handguns. Arch Manning was trending yesterday as third-generation football phenomenon announced that he'd play college ball at Texas Longhorns. And then Title IX was trending yesterday as well as Biden administration announced that sex cannot be defined by a person's biological makeup. Yep, you heard me say that out loud. So, yes, these were all things that were said. So there you go, some things to think about. Anyways, there's no rhyme or reason for the way that we will do things today. But then again, now that I think about it, there's really not a rhyme or reason for the way that we do anything anyways at any point on this show. I don't mean that to be insulting. I just mean that because that's the way that it goes. Anyways, with that being said, I think that we need to tell you the layout of the land and how this actually goes. We talk about safety in the news and safety. So with that being said, We will bring in some professional broadcasters that will talk about what is going on. We will jump around and talk about this, talk about that, and do some devotional stuff, do some motivation things, talk about the market, all the fun stuff that you can do. There's some interaction going on at callinradio.com. That is the only way, yes, the only way that I can see you now. Yeah, it was done by design. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Callinradio.com, done by design in regards to being be able to interact with the show. Hey, I can only do what my masters tell me to do around here. That's the way that it goes. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is time to move forward, and let's get moving, grooving, and ruling with what's going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. An expected ruling on abortion rights has all eyes trained on the Supreme Court. Mark Mayfield with more.
It also has law enforcement on high alert across the country. Fences are already up outside the High Court in advance of planned demonstrations. The Department of Homeland Security has issued warnings about the potential for violence from people on both sides of the issue. The case in question before the court is one out of Mississippi that a leaked draft opinion shows the justices ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade. That decades-old decision led to the legalization of abortion in America.
Republicans in the Senate have joined Democrats in passing the first major gun safety bill in nearly 30 years. The new bill will encourage states to pass red flag laws, which allow police to remove guns from people who present a danger to themselves or others, and it would strengthen background checks for gun buyers under age 21. The bill now moves on to the House. Former acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen says ex-President Trump often complained that the Justice Department wasn't doing enough to investigate his claims of widespread voter fraud.
He asserted that he thought the Justice Department had not done enough.
During a hearing of the January 6 House Committee, former acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donoghue described similar conversations with Trump. He noted he regularly refuted Trump's claims and said Trump's tone became increasingly urgent in a series of conversations. Rosen and Donoghue were promoted after the resignation of Attorney General Bill Barr, who told Trump that claims of a stolen election were, in his words, BS. Complaints against airlines are piling up as fewer flights are arriving on time. Emily Akita reports.
For thousands of Americans this week, their summer getaways landing them in an airport Armageddon.
We've had multiple delays and chaos.
More than 2,000 flights axed just since yesterday.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
From FSN in London, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world headlines. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's leadership is under renewed pressure after his Conservative Party lost 2 by-elections. EU leaders are meeting for a second day of talks in Brussels ahead of the G7 and NATO summits in Bavaria and Madrid. Ukraine is now a step closer to joining the EU. And India's COVID infections hit a 4-month high on Friday amid concerns about a new wave of infections.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
The CDC is investigating what it calls one of the worst outbreaks of meningococcal disease among gay and bisexual men in U.S. history. The health agency said this week it began investigating after at least 24 cases and 6 deaths were reported in Florida. The CDC said the outbreak is spreading primarily among gay, bisexual, and other men having sex with men, including those with HIV. About half the cases reported were among Hispanic men. The bacteria can cause a deadly bloodstream infection or meningitis, which is an infection of the lining of the brain or spinal cord. The Biden administration is working with 11 states to build more offshore wind turbines along the East Coast. The White House released a statement Thursday saying the new partnership will accelerate development of offshore wind facilities and create jobs by supporting a domestic supply chain for the industry.
And when I think climate, when I think environment, I think jobs. And these are good paying jobs, and they're making a big, big difference.
The White House says the move will also provide Americans with cleaner and cheaper energy. The wind partnership currently includes Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. A Team USA swimmer will rest today following a scare at the FINA World Championships in Budapest Wednesday. Anita Alvarez talked about fainting in the pool during the solo free event final.
I started to feel a little bit of numbness in my fingers, and then honestly just kind of everything went black, and that was kind of it. It all happened really fast.
Her coach, Andrea Fuentes, jumped into the pool to rescue Alvarez after she sank to the bottom of the pool. In an interview with the Spanish publication Marca, Fuentes said, "It was a big scare. I had to jump in because the lifeguards weren't doing it." Fuentes said Alvarez will go through testing to determine the cause of her fainting and hopes she'll be able to swim in today's team-free event. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, nothing better than toilet flushing and radio shows and things along those lines to think about for sure. Anyways, a lot of a combination of stuff as we are going in and talking about everything that is going on inside of this world. You know, I have to tell you this. I've over the last few months, you know, we've been talking briefly about putting on an event, putting on something. And I can almost tell you that we are on the verge of announcing what is on what we're going to do. So be on the lookout for that. But here's my question, and I don't want to give you a destination yet on what I'm thinking. But how much would you consider if we did an event in Baja, Mexico, or Baja, California, or just to help out a few? Would you go to Baja, California to do an event? Like, would you come and hang out in Baja, California? What if we did a 3-dayer? I mean, I don't know. Just something to think about. I've been thinking a lot about Baja, California. Not because I have this weird obsession with California, but then I really have this weird obsession with Baja, California. And boy, we could be here for a long period of time to talk about that. But maybe that's a story for another day. Anyways, you're here for the news, so maybe we should talk about that because that's probably the important part. Anyway, 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing the things that we get to do together. Anyways, this begins the reckoning over the vaccine mandates and things that were said and done and all that kind of fun stuff. So we are going to talk in long form about what's going on. So I'm going to give you the information as it is provided to talk about. So let's go through it. A preprint study reveals that anyone who took the Pfizer or Moderna COVID vaccine faces an increased risk of serious adverse events of special interest compared to the placebo group. The science talk for people who get a jab who are more likely to have something to go wrong than people who didn't. Worse, the excess risk is a serious adverse event of special interest surpassed the risk reduction of COVID-19 hospitalization relative to placebo groups in both Pfizer and Moderna trials. Worth noting, everything comes with a risk. The COVID hysteria of failed to consider the cost-benefit analysis of exacerbated by the demands that people were required to get the shot in order to participate in society. Let's continue with what the publication says. The published study in the New England Journal of Medicine reveals that the overall protection from COVID was higher among those with natural immunity than those who received 2 vaccine doses. The study used the data from August and September of 2021 amid the Delta variant spread and included information from more than 5.7 million people. So this is some stuff to think about as we are talking about it. And then Austria has formally ended the vaccine mandate, which was suspended earlier this year. Austrians were to be slapped with fines of $3,780 for not getting the jab, but the measures did a little to boost the number of people who got the shots. Public supermarket, which are prevalent here in Florida and across the South, has announced that they will not offer COVID vaccines to children under 5 years of age, despite the recent FDA approval to be able to do that. And then, last but not least, let's share this real quick. A Harvard Medical School study shows that the most recent Omicron subvariant are not a match for antibody responses among either the fully boosted or naturally immune. The good news is that most people who contact these variants fare just fine, which technically has always been the case in the overwhelming majority of people who get sick with COVID for the most part. So what do you think? What do you think about the studies? What do you think about the variants? What do you think also on top of certain places such as this very well-known supermarket in the South not offering the vaccine to 5 years and younger? I mean, it's a lot of stuff to think about. That is for sure. So what do you think? Seriously, what are you thinking as I bring this up? Because here's the deal. Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. You know, I think you've heard that somebody say that quite often. But here's the gig. I think that people did a lot of stuff based on the information they had at the time. And listen, a lot of people were concerned about death, and I mean, I get it. And listen, I have friends that they had parents that passed away due to COVID. They had family members that were passed away due to COVID. So it was a weird time. I mean, it's still a strange time. Let's just be realistic. And people did what they thought was in their best interest to do. So let's just be real. Let's talk about it. So a lot of stuff to think about with that story.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's talk about this, because this is something that we're going to talk about with a lot of the strangeness that continues to go on. Mortgage rates increased more than 0.5% point over the last week to 5.78. The biggest single jump in 35 years. That's nearly double of what it was a year ago, that the standard was 2.93. The increase follows aggressive rate interest increases from the Federal Reserve, which plans to continue to do so as inflation continues to be unabated. So think about that. 5.78. 5.78. I mean, it's getting a little scary area out there. So I guess before I continue talking some more about my stuff and what's going on, why don't we just do this and bring in my little friend, or should I say my small friend, John Smalls, and let him tell you about what's going on.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, June 24th, 2022. The rally in equities began to fizzle out on Thursday following another commentary from the Fed. Fed Chair Jerome Powell completed the second day of testimony on Capitol Hill, raising the fear of recession once again. In his comments, he says a recession is possible, although the evidence suggests a recession is already underway. The textbook definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of tepid or negative GDP growth. We've already logged 1 negative quarter this year. Based on the latest readings of the leading indicators, the second quarter GDP will most likely be negative as well. The next big hurdle for the market will come next week with the PCE price index. The index should moderate on a month-to-month and year-over-year basis, but there's no guarantee it will. The most likely scenario is that month-to-month inflation moderated slightly, but year-over-year gains are still robust and will cement the need for aggressive 75 basis point rate hikes from the FOMC. You can get the inside track for Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, there you go. Market Beat Minute, giving you the information that you might have wanted to know, and maybe potentially not what you wanted to know, but we're sharing the info because it's important to talk about anyways. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going around on the multiverse and the multiplex and the whatever the hell you want to talk about. Matter of fact, talking about multiverse real quick. Did you watch the new Doctor Strange movie as it hit Disney Plus earlier this week? Boy, was that a well-done movie. I was kind of surprised on how good it was overall. And I did say overall because there were some things that I didn't love, but that's just kind of the way that it goes sometimes. But I was really impressed. I was. Anyways, let's talk. Netflix head Ted Sarandos has clarified the rumors about the streaming service forthcoming ad-supported plan. He said in the Cannes Lion Advertising Festival that the Netflix wants to cater to people who say, hey, I want the lower price. I'll watch the ads. The move comes as Netflix has hemorrhaged subscribers in the recent months and lost about 65% of its stock value in the last year. Meanwhile, Variety reports that Netflix has begun a brutal round of layoffs, with 300 staff getting the pink slip on Thursday. And the company's global workforce is around 11,000 staffers. So some stuff to think about. Anyways, a new study suggests that Jupiter got to be the giant because it's fully consumed smaller planets over the eons. Yeah, it's the eater of planets. The theory comes as courtesy of the Juno space probe, whose data also researchers for the first time to map the rocky makeup of the planet's core. And the analyst shows that the abundance of heavy elements and chemical makeup that implies multiple smaller planets collided with Jupiter. So this is what happens when worlds collide. So with that being said, think about this real quick. This is an eater of planets. This is definitely, you remember those Riddick movies? You know, the pitch black sequence and all that stuff? That's essentially what the hell they were talking about. Oh, especially when you started getting into the sequels. And I know, a lot of people didn't watch those, but you know what I'm talking about.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, the Dow rallied following an afternoon slump, closing up 194 points, or 0.64%. The S&P 500 added 35 points, or 0.95%. And the NASDAQ picked up 179 points, or 1.62%. West Texas Intermediate continued to edge down, closing at $104.42. And Brent crude closed at $106.12. Gas prices continue to slow their recovery. The average price of gas is now $4.94. Oh, relief at the pump. Is it going to happen? Who the hell knows? Anyways, Bitcoin shot back up above $20,000, closing at $20,771.40. That's up 4.1, or that's up 4.01%. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on real quick. Anyways, I will tell you, we did the look through the scraper-aper of what was going on with new movies, and it did not scrape hard enough, I don't think. Because this is what I got. I got new to Hulu this week is Big Gold Brick. Boy, did I almost say the wrong thing there. Also, Gasoline Alley. And new to Netflix is The Man from Toronto. I would imagine there has to be some newer movies out there, but who the hell knows? So that's what's going on inside of that side of the equation. So that's why I brought it to you, talking about moving forward, talking about all that stuff. Let's talk and move and groove and talk about all kinds of fun stuff. Let's get into some weird news real quick. Let me tell you about this. The Labor Board accuses Starbucks of illegal tactics against union efforts. I don't know if you heard about this. The National Labor Relations Board is accusing Starbucks of using illegal tactics against workers trying to unionize their stores. Mark Mayfield has more information.
The board filed a petition this week in U.S. District Court in Western New York, calling on Starbucks to reinstate 7 Buffalo workers that they claim were illegally fired for trying to start a union. It also calls for Starbucks to negotiate with a store whose union election, they say, was harmed by anti-union efforts. The board is accusing Starbucks of using an array of illegal tactics to discourage union activity at its stores. Starbucks says the claims are false and that they are prepared to defend their case. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one and what the hell is going on inside of there. Oh, I'm going to do something that we might regret, but let's do it together. This is the latest political news. Oh, God.
President Biden is calling on Congress to finish the job after the U.S. Senate advanced bipartisan gun safety legislation.
The yeas are 65. The nays are 33. The motion to concur with an amendment is agreed to.
The bill passed by a vote of 65 to 33, which puts it on its way now to the House. All 50 Democratic members voted to pass it, along with 15 Republicans. The bill includes increased background check measures and more funding for mental health, school safety, and crisis intervention programs. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said previously she will swiftly bring it to the floor so we can send it to President Biden's desk. President Biden also calling himself deeply disappointed by the Supreme Court's ruling in a closely watched guns case. The High Court ruled that people can carry handguns for self-defense. And an expected ruling on abortion rights has all eyes trained on the Supreme Court. It also has law enforcement on high alert across the country. The Department of Homeland Security has issued warnings about the potential for violence from people on both sides of the issue. That's politics. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Yeah, if you are wondering what just happened, yes, I just gave you a full politics minute. Yeah. Yeah. Very unlike me. So anyways, let's continue talking real quick. FBI server subpoena to fake Republican electors. Take a listen to this. Coming out of Detroit, Michigan, the 16 people who allegedly signed their names to a document as fake electors for former President Trump have been served subpoenas by the FBI. One of them is Michelle Lundgren, who admits that she signed her name that would appear to be on a sign-in sheet in Michigan Republican meeting in Lansing that she was invited to in order to help Trump.
I didn't even know what an elector was, let alone a fake elector. I signed a piece of paper. I know it was blank.
She has been subpoenaed to testify on July the 8th before the U.S. House Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection and says will comply. Michelle Lundgren says that she did not sign anything saying that she was an elector in 2020 presidential election. Take a listen.
I signed nothing but what appeared to be, like I said, a sign-in sheet. It was after the fact that somebody said they probably stapled it to official docs.
So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Be careful on what you signed your name to. I guess that's an important part. Anyways, the Iowa drought continues to deepen. A mostly dry week across much of the Iowa state brings an expansion of drought conditions. Take a listen to this.
This week's National Drought Monitor map shows an increase of moderate and severe drought in northwest Iowa with an expansion of abnormally dry conditions in eastern and southeast Iowa. About 63% of Iowa's drought-free, down from last week's 72%. Current numbers are a far cry from a year ago when 93% of Iowa was in some level of abnormally dry or drought condition. I'm Trent Rice.
Okay, thank you, Trent, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of there. Let's talk about this real quick. Public memorial to be held to mark 1 year Surfside collapse anniversary. Take a listen to this. Today, Surfside, Florida marks a year since the deadly Surfside condo collapse. That there was a public memorial at 10 this morning. There will be, I guess, at 1 to 10 this morning for family members, emergency officials, and politicians. Rachel Spiegel lost her mom, Judy, who was missing for nearly 3 weeks before the search and rescue team found her body.
I'm doing everything in my power to keep her memory alive and honor her in everything that I do.
She says the hardest part is not getting closure and losing all the precious family heirlooms. Urban search and rescue crews will read the names of the 98 victims, and torch will burn the memory of the veteran park. Let's see. First Lady Jill Biden is among the speakers at the memorial today. Rachel Spiegel, who lost her mom, was also said who was missing for nearly 3 weeks before the emergency crews found her body.
I certainly feel the trauma. I certainly feel like I don't have closure. You know, I really have this very empty hole in my heart.
So Spiegel says that not having any closure is the hardest part, along with losing the precious heirlooms, as I just addressed.
Their wedding album, her engagement ring, her wedding ring, you know, important things like that. It's just heartbreaking, and we lost everything.
You know, it's one of those things that you take a look at a kind of a multitude of things and go, wow, it's been a year since that. And it's amazing. Just taking a look at the whole scenario after a year and then taking a look at what will happen this morning during the memorial aspect of what is going on in Surfside, Florida. Let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Did you hear about this? Kyle Rittenhouse announces a new shooting video game, and this is not a joke as I say that. Kyle Rittenhouse will release a video game in effort to fund defamation lawsuit against media outlets.
From the very beginning, I did nothing wrong. But that didn't stop the media from smearing my name. It's time to fight back against the fake news machine. This is why I'm launching the Kyle Rittenhouse Fake News Turkey Shoot video game.
Okay, Rittenhouse was acquitted last year on charges connected to a fatal shooting of 2 men during the protest in Wisconsin in 2020. The video game called Kyle Rittenhouse Turkey Shoot. It will let players shoot fake news turkeys as Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse announced the game on Twitter, where he said that it'll be available for pre-order now for about $10. Oh, Lord. Anyways, let's just continue talking about that. We'll just continue to move forward with what else is going on inside of the world of the news. Let's see. Oxnard police warning of fake bank hacking scam. The hacking scam. Take a listen to this. Phone scammers have come up with a new way to prey on victims. Daniel Martindale shares more.
Oxnard police say it's a new way to trick unsuspecting people out of their money. Criminals are claiming to be from a notable business, then telling people their bank accounts have been hacked, and then they need to transfer their money to an escrow account, they say. In most cases, they're calling their targets on the phone and spoofing the number of an actual business, agency, or organization to make the thing look legitimate on caller ID. In other cases, they're even posing as police officers. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Martin, for that one. So be on the lookout there. If you get that weird call and you go, what the hell's going on? There you go. That's some information. Anyways, a woman accused of running down ex-partner pleads not guilty. We spoke about this earlier in the week. A woman has been accused of running down her ex-partner in Ventura, then driving away and made her first court appearance. let's listen to some more Daniel Martindale.
47-year-old Elizabeth Guillen faced a judge on Thursday. She pleaded not guilty to an attempted murder charge and a dozen special allegations. Guillen was initially arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon and domestic violence with injury. The victim, her 54-year-old estranged partner, remains hospitalized in critical condition. The woman was hit with a car on Sunday and was found lying unconscious in the road. Guillen is being held in Ventura County Jail without bail. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you for that one as well and what's going on. Let me tell you about this because I was kind of amazed when I found this one. A 15-year-old is in critical condition after a subway surfing in Queens. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. A teenage subway surfer is in the hospital fighting for his life after he hit his head on an unknown object while on the road atop of a 7 train in Queens. Riders say, unfortunately, the subway surfing has become popular again.
People don't realize how dangerous that stuff can be. And, you know, there's this weird culture of, like, trying to, like, outdo people and do these outlandish things lately.
So let's see. Police found the 15-year-old unconscious on the 111th Street station around 6:30 last night. He was rushed to the hospital just last month. A group of around 8 people were filmed riding on top of a subway cars in Brooklyn. You know, this is where I get slightly confused. You know, if you see this stuff in movies, it's normally CGI. It's not like people are really hanging out on top of trains and doing all this stuff. But I guess, you know, if you don't give those explanations, it's kind of hard for some people to go, oh, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Something to think about for sure. Anyways, currently 36 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging out on this lovely Friday that we call Freeform. And I will guess we'll take a look at what's going on inside of the world of the messaging system, because I think that that's going to be important.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Cuando me deja un mensaje de la drama, cuando peleamos a las 2 de la mañana, tú no vales la pena nunca volver a mi cama. Cuando pones mi canción favorita y me embala con tu jodido cuerpito, it's a trap, I know, tryna reel me back, cause you never let go. I know, you never let go. I know,
Suéltame, Lord Ito. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, that's what's going on in our world. Thank you to Lord Ito for allowing us to play Suéltame here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, going in hot. So let's take a gander at some things that are going on real quick. I will mention this real quick, just because it just came in right now at the 42 mark. So take a listen. New York City mayor reacts to the Supreme Court of the United States concealed carry ruling. Take a listen. This is coming in hot right now. The New York mayor, New York City Mayor Eric Adams is calling for the U.S. Supreme Court ruling to be overturned as New York State's concealed carry laws are appalling. Noam Layden has more information.
Mayor Adams says the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the state's concealed carry law could not come at a worse time.
It didn't take into account the crisis we're facing now.
In a blistering 51-page dissent, Justice Breyer wrote the High Court's conservative majority overturned New York's law without considering the potentially deadly consequences of its decision. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
And that is fresh off the wire hopper right there. That is no joke. That's about as new as you get stuff, as it is coming in. So anyways, let's start talking a little bit more. Like I tell you every single time that we hang out, there is some information that we will always talk about. This will be always the most important thing that we talk about, regardless of what the conversation is. We could be talking about simulation theory. We could be talking about the multiverse of madness. We can be talking on how to become a billionaire, but this is going to be more important than all of it. And this is about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Seriously. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or text the word TALK to 741-741. Or you can just go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org to find out exactly what is going on. Listen, before you decide to do the next thing, this will be the most important thing that you can do. Seriously. I want you to think about that. I want you to give it heavy consideration before anything else happens. That you call that number. if you are struggling with suicide or depression. Or if you just want to gain knowledge on how you can help others, that would be where to go. AFSP.org, text the word TALK to 741-741 or call 1-800-273-8255. There you go. That's what it's about. Anyway, let's get into some things real quick. I got a lot of stuff to share with you and limited time to do so. It is Freeform Friday. This is the Rated R Safety Show, just in case you were wondering what was going on. And I think we need to get motivated. So let's do that.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Jennifer. It's not actually a quote today, but more of a great observation. A bottle of water at a warehouse store is 25 cents. The same bottle at a supermarket is about 50 cents. That same bottle at a bar is $2. How about a good restaurant or a hotel? It's maybe $3. Now, in an airport or on an airplane, that exact same bottle of water is probably $5 or more. The bottle and the brand is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the place. Each place gives a different value to the same product. When you feel like you're not worth much and everyone around you belittles you, change places. Do not stay there. Have the courage to change places and go to a place where you're given the value you deserve. Surround yourself with people who really appreciate your worth. Don't settle for less. You are worth more. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When we go for exercise, we normally don't think about our brains. However, interestingly enough, exercise intensity may determine which brain regions are affected during a workout. Low-intensity exercise activates brain regions involved in cognition and attention, while high-intensity activates brain regions involved in mood, emotion, and dampened motor function brain networks. Exercise at both intensities improves mood. Low-intensity aerobic exercise is at about 50% of a person's maximum heart rate, while high-intensity aerobic exercise is at 75% maximum heart rate or higher, and should last for at least 18 minutes. Target maximum heart rate is defined by age and can be calculated using a formula 220 minus age. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. As a young pastor, I spent several afternoons with a wonderful old woman named Pearl Anderson, who was dying of stomach cancer. I sat with her at the kitchen table in the ranch house, drinking coffee while she told me how she and her husband had homesteaded the place. From her, I learned the ministry of presence, the power of just being there, and the holy art of living until we die. A few weeks later, she died in her own bed late one afternoon with a smile on her lips, seeing something no one else could see. Jesus said, "I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." Lord Jesus, thank you for the promise of eternal life. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. Currently 48 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the lovely things that we get to do together. Anyways, you have anything magnificently planned for the weekend? Well, good. I'm happy for you. Anyways, let's talk about some movies that are opening up today. Well, I will say officially opening up today, because as you are aware, some movies did open up last night, because that's how that goes. Anyways, Elvis comes out today. It's the biopic movie from his childhood in Tupelo to his rise of stardom beginning in Memphis and conquering Las Vegas. Elvis becomes the first rock and roll star and changes the world with music. So there you go. That comes out today, rated PG-13. Also, The Black Phone, rated R. It's a horror movie after being abducted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement. A 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls from a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victim. So there you go. That's all out today if you're willing to go to the cinema to take a look-see about what is on and going on and moving around inside of there. So there you go. Some stuff to think about for sure. So what else do we got? Let's see. Let's talk about this. Nightlight. Yeah, let's talk about some nightlight real quick. Even dim lights can interrupt sleep. raising the risk of serious health issues in older adults. A new study has found that Phyllis C., chief of sleep medicine in Northwestern University School of Medicine in Chicago, says that her team found exposure to any amount of light during sleep period was correlated with the higher prevalence of diabetes, obesity, and hypertension in both older men and women. Further concerning matters is the fact about that researchers were surprised to find that fewer than half of the people who study regularly slept in the darkness for at least 5 hours per night. The same team found that earlier this year, among the adults that with their 20s, those who slept with even one night with a dim light, such as a muted TV, experienced higher blood pressure and raised heart rate. Yeah, that's called having kids. So if it's TV's fault, the whole time I thought the couch was a problem, so I guess it is the TV to think about. Anyways, a lot of stuff to think about there. So do you sleep with the TV on? Do you have anything going on? Is the room pitch black? I mean, I don't know. What are you supposed to do? A lot of stuff to think about for sure. Anyways, new developments. Let's talk about this. An effective new weight loss pill could be on the way. Researchers at Stanford University say that they have found an anti-hunger molecule called Lepech, which normally only produced after an intense workout. After giving obese mice this molecule, they were not only found that they have eaten 30% less, but also weighed less in the long term, a lower percentage of body fat and improved blood sugar regulation. The research could lead to the creation of a fat-fighting pill, which would also be used to suppress appetite for those who cannot easily exercise because of conditions such as aging or bone issues, or in this case, couch issues. So some things to think about. Anyways, Twitter is testing a new feature that will let people go over 280 character limits in a single piece of content, in which the new feature is called Notes. Users can include up to 2,500 words, not characters, as well as also provide photos, videos, and GIFs in one post. The note card will show up in the Twitter timeline as a tweet that contains preview for the longer post. Twitter has launched a public test of Notes with a small group of writers from the U.S., U.K., Canada, and Ghana, who are currently wondering what the hell they can write about with 2,500 words long. Think about that. What are you going to write with 2,500 words?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So take a listen to this in the news of the weird, because it is Friday, so let's get you into some more weirdness than the show is allocated for. A Florida's man pregnant dog scored him a $2 million winning lottery ticket. The 42-year-old Leonard Linton of Pinetta, is celebrating with the best friend, Ivy, thanks to a $10 scratch-off ticket that picked up an expecting dachshund. Linton got a call from Ivy, who was feeling well, so he got her as quickly as possible, and he took her to a different route home. Along the route, he made a quick stop at a convenience store where he was unbested to him. To know that at the time that he purchased a winning ticket, Linton calls the win life-changing, and he says that he's definitely getting an Ivy a new kennel. Certainly not the first guy to ever blame the dog, but hey, $2 million for a little quickie stop, and getting that after picking up your pregnant dog. Hey, good for you, my friend. Anyways, UK police were flabbergasted after attempting to save what they thought was an elderly woman in distress, only to discover the victim was actually a parrot yelling for help. West Midlands police received reports that an elderly person was shouting for help inside of a house in Sutton Coldfield. But when the team knocked on the door, they found the property empty, aside with the parrot in a cage living in the room. Soon after, the woman's son arrived and told him that the bird was one making the distress cries. A tweet from the police force detailing the hilarious mix-up is currently blowing up on Twitter, complete with the pic of the officer posing with the pranking parrot. The bird was only saying that we've all wanted to say that after our grandma's being in our grandma's living room, help, help, help. So there you go. Anyways, in some did you know news, good news, stoners, science is finally backing up that what you said, what you've known all along, that smoking weed does, in fact, make you nicer, less greedy, and to boot. In a recent study published by the Journal of Scientific Reports, University of New Mexico researchers found that evidence that cannabis use makes people more empathetic, as well as motivated by and less motivated by money, also less motivated by anything. So some things to think about as we are talking right there. So just some news right there as we are speaking. Anyways, let's talk about this. The Mega Million jackpot of $312 million or $173.6 million cash payout is the next drawing, which will be tonight. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $335 million or $188 million cash payout. So there you go. If you're looking on for some games to play, I guess you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. What else? Let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Taking a look around back in 2020, Johns Hopkins reports more than 9.2 million cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed worldwide. The WHO predicts that the world will reach at least 10 million cases by next week. That happened all back in 2020. Let's talk about some birthdays real quick. Taking a look around, Candace Patton turns 34, Leonardo Messi 35, Vanessa Ray 41, Minka Kelly turns 42, Mindy Kaling turns 43, and Mick Fleetwood, from that Fleetwood Mac team, that band, you might have heard of it. He turned 75 today, just in case you were wondering. And then if you're looking for some days to celebrate, well, Swim a Lap Day and International Ferry Day. Yeah, International Ferry. Not sure what kind of ferry they're talking about, but it does say International Ferry Day. So there you go. Anyways, if you need, a random joke for today, I got one for you. We only use 10% of our brains. Imagine how much we could accomplish if we use the other 60%. You get it? I hope you got it. I hope it wasn't too deep. Anyways, let's see. What else do we have? If you need something for a phone starter, try this one. What group of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable? Oh, come on. There's a whole list that comes to my mind right away. Can they even be discussed? I'm not even sure. So anyways, if you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question: when people were asked to name a food they love but can't handle in the morning, the number one answer was fish. What do you think number two was? What kind of fish are we talking about? What do you think number two was? Well, surprisingly enough, it was spaghetti. Yeah, it was spaghetti. That's what people said they could not handle in the morning. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time together. If you want to hang out for a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to. All you have to do is go into radiobig.fm. If you go to radiobig.fm, we'll hang out for a little bit longer. That's via the website, or if you want to go via the app, you can go to TuneIn Radio. That will be TuneIn, and you can just find us right there under radiobig.fm. We definitely could not do what we do around here without you. The most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. So thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on here. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Doing what you like is freedom, but liking what you do is happiness. Boy, if people could learn that, they would go so much further. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
You never let it go. I know.